This is my 2009 370Z. This is also my 2009 non-digital dash. And this is my digital dash from Nifty City. Can you tell the difference? So this digital dash has 5 digital themes that you can choose from, and personally my favorites are the Nissan Z and the GTR ones. And one of my more favorite parts is that it has connectivity from the Mark II Tesla screen over to the digital dash. And what I'm going to do is show you how I went from my old crusty cluster to this brand new digital dash. Makes it look like it came out of the big 25. And I have to say a huge thank you to Nifty City for helping me out and sending me out the dash. That way I can show you guys how to quickly install and how cool it is. But seriously, thank you to anybody who has subscribed. And if you haven't already, if you want to, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button, because then more opportunities come out like this. But if you want, just watching the video itself helps. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I opted for the carbon fibre option. Now it kind of looks like it's hydro-dipped carbon, but still carbon nonetheless, because this car, I kind of have a carbon obsession. And it comes with the harness and pigtails that you need to get it to run, and an HDMI cord, and I'll show you what this is for later. So you're gonna pop off these 2 plastic clips that are behind the steering wheel, so that way you can get access to these Phillips head bolts. And of course, get your Phillips head lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, turn it left so you can loosen them on both sides. There's going to be 1 bolt on the bottom, a little hard to film, but make sure to take that out so that way you can get access to pull everything out. And which means you need to pull out the lower part of this dash, and then moving on to this part of the steering wheel column that you need to pull out. Be a little aggressive, but not too hard. You're then going to get access to the 4 hex head bolts, they're 10s. And I used my electric ratchet to get them out. Like I said, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, and just put your bolts to the side. Then take some needle nose pliers and get that clip off, so that way you can pull out your OEM dash entirely, and it gives you freedom to finally install your new digital dash. I took the provided plugs and plugged it into the OEM harness. You're going to want to make sure that you plug in one side which has more wires into the digital dash, then the other side that has the least amount of wires, that's going to go to your OEM dash, so that way when you turn on the car, it reads everything from the OEM dash and transfers the data to your new one. Before you reinstall, there's going to be this plastic bezel that you need to take off the old dash and put onto the new one. There are 4 little bolts that you need to take out, and you just transfer it to the new dash. Very easy, very simple install, and should only take you about 30 minutes or less. And then after that, you just reverse the install. It's that simple. But let's get into the specifics now. So I'm gonna quickly run through a couple of things. So let's start with this, because I already posted this like on TikTok and stuff. Look, my mom's texting me, but I already posted this on TikTok and stuff, and there's different things that you can look at. So right now I have it on maps, right? But you can easily switch it to G-force, you can switch it to look at the 3, pretty much essentially like what is here besides degrees. I don't know why mine is reading out -3. I also have to figure out why I can't get it into manual mode, and also it's reading -21 degrees Fahrenheit. I have a feeling I might have plugged in the wrong plug, but I'll check my install in a bit. And then also you have other things like distance, time, average speed, fuel economy, fuel efficiency. And then this is for the TPMS sensors, I believe, but I don't have any. Then also this is very important. So this, when it says please check connection to the HDMI, I have the Mark II screen on the way, so I can't give you guys the exact feedback on how the two connect with each other, but they do connect with each other. So there's features where you could be watching things on here and then share it to this screen, so that way you can view it here. That does mean, yes, you can watch certain shows and stuff on here, but I that it's illegal, but whatever, but you can though, and that's the point. So what I'm gonna do is once I get my Mark II screen, because it has to be the Mark II screen. I have the Mark I, it won't connect with this. So these are gonna be working separately if you have the Mark I and you pair it with the dash. But if you have the Mark II, you have a lot more options and you can do a lot more cool things. So when I do, the Mark II should be in next week, so I'll get into that once I finally receive it. The warnings And then also here's another important part, which is themes. Themes. So you push the OK button and you actually can change to different themes in the car. And let's do theme 2, which I think is the GTR. Let's see, it takes a little bit to boot up because it literally reboots, so you get like the boot screen and everything, which still looks pretty sick. Okay, no, so I don't know what theme this one is specifically, like what it's inspired off. Oh yeah, here we go. That's the GTR one right here. So I like, you know, having as much info in my face as possible. So the GTR one is not bad. I could probably rock this one out for a little bit, but and it's sick because it almost kind of makes it look like you have like an aftermarket standalone ECU or something, but nah, just vibing. The Apple CarPlay is a little small in the GTR one, but let's say you're cruising and you want to bring up the screen a lot bigger, hold the OK button, and now it goes to a different theme, and you literally have the CarPlay massive, which I think is a subtle but awesome touch but sometimes the roads are really skinny and there's like 2 exits and they lead to 2 different places. So you might want to have it bigger, or maybe you just want to have it bigger because of sight. Whatever the case may be, I think it's pretty sick that there's options, and I'm sure there's gonna be more themes that you can update to. Now, I could have dropped this video literally like a week ago, but I decided to hold on and wait because not that the other videos that were posted were bad. Honestly, a lot of them were great quality, and even the homie Eric, his was like spot on to show what the cluster is about. But I wanted to get some feedback from the community, from those who might be interested in buying it, and even some feedback from those who have already bought it. So I posted in the 370Z forum on Facebook, and that was the best decision I have ever made in my life. A lot of them are assholes, but there's also a lot of valid questions, and I'm trolling back whatever, we're all having fun. So I decided I'm going to answer those questions in the video, and I already answered them in the forum. The same questions that they're probably asking in this forum are probably the same ones you guys are going to be thinking about while watching the video, so why not just get more information? One of the biggest questions that was asked was if it can display the M and what gear you're in, and the answer is yes. Now mine is a 2009 base 370Z that I put all the sports stuff on it, but that means I don't have the rev match and stuff from factory, so my wiring harness is not built for that. So when you are doing the data transfer, it is supposed to transfer everything. If you have the rev match, then it should display. Now apparently there's been some people that have had issues where it's constantly displaying P. Now I don't know about you, but that annoys the hell out of me, and I did tell them straight up this will deter people from buying this, but thankfully they were open to the feedback, and hopefully in the next update we can either get it to say M. I'd rather it display M and no number than just P non-stop, because I have nothing against automatic cars, but mine's not an automatic, so it's just one of those little things. But the sport cluster, in theory, you should have no issues. I could connect it to my fiance's car to test it out, but for now, this is the information I have. It will display P for a little bit, but they're working on it. You can connect it through an HDMI cable, and it will display whatever is seen on your screen to your dash. Now, my only gripe with this one is that I actually like the CarPlay on the dash more than I do than displaying it from HDMI to the dash from the screen, because the dash is integrated so smooth, and it honestly looks really, really good and functions very well. The only issue is that you can't transfer music from the dash to the screen. So I kind of wish that they enabled a mode where you can actually transfer the data from the dash the other way around, and then, you know, work off CarPlay off that and just have your screen. Or I don't know, I'm not a Scientologist. That's actually like a cult. And again, I do like the CarPlay in the dash more than just showing it from the screen, but the trade-off, and the reason is because when you're going from HDMI to the screen, it displays a little small, and then of course because the aspect ratio is vertical and you're putting it into a small rectangular screen, it's not going to be as big, versus the CarPlay that comes on the dash is actually perfect, well suited, and it fits most themes. It looks really good. I like it a lot, especially on the Nissan Z theme. So honestly, I haven't been using it that much, but you can push the OK button to display it bigger, and I showed you guys that earlier in the video. So if you are displaying from the screen, that's that moment where it actually becomes very useful, because maybe you're doing something you shouldn't be, which is like watching a Netflix show while driving. Not that I've done that, and you can watch it more clearly on there through there. But honestly, I've been keeping up the gauges instead of using the HDMI out, but it's still a really cool option. I'm sure that there's a lot more functionality that can be figured out in the future. So if you get the V2 dash, if you get the V2 screen, there are some subtle upgrades that I can understand why you would get that. But if you have the V1 and no intention of getting the digital dash, the V1 is just fine. There's no reason to upgrade. Last but not least, the pros and cons. Honestly, the pros are, it does make it look a lot more modern. It literally brings your car from whatever year it may be to the big 25. And another pro that I really like is that you can see all the measurements that you would need just right in your face, not taking your face away from the screen, just keeping your face straight forward. So that way you're paying more attention to the road. You know, you're just keeping your eyes straight. It's like right there in the corner. You're not veering so much. It kind of reminds me of a heads-up display, if you like, for a lack of better words. I really have been loving the hell out of this screen. It really has been, I don't know, I would personally say an awesome upgrade. Now the cons. A lot of people have been saying, oh, it looks cheap. I can tell you straight up, it does not look cheap in person. Maybe it's because of the type of carbon that it looks like, but that's because it's dry. It's a dry carbon look. You don't want gloss carbon in that area because all it's going to do is cause a glare and you're not going to be able to see. There's going to be crazy reflections. So I personally don't see where it could be cheap, because even the button feels and everything that you push, they feel great. So I would say that's a con, because there have been quite a lot of people that the carbon version is very hit or miss. But I would say the black version, which is just a regular one that it's coming with, it looks fantastic. So I don't even know if I can call this a con. It's just like, it's personal preference. I think it's a pro. Well, you know what? We're gonna slide that to pro. The other con would be is that the RPM so far has been reading a little bit under. So I think it was about 150 RPM, which is really, really close, but still it needs to be as accurate as possible. And this is only while driving. I noticed that there is a little bit of latency issue, but it's like literally, it's so minute that hopefully this can be fixed in the update. But again, it's not something that has made me drive the car worse, or like while I'm dragging it or doing anything like that, it's made the car perform. But 150 RPM, you know, for people that are racing, I don't know, like maybe serious and you're smacking limiter and stuff like that, it's gonna slow them down. So I would say that's an honest con, but again, it's something that can be worked on. And the other con I would say is like maybe the pricing. The pricing is a little high, just being really blunt with you. This does come in at $1,400. Now, do I think that it's a terrible $1,400 spend? No, because people who have had the Tesla screen is just as expensive, but it's been a great resource and a lot of people love it. So it really just comes down to how you are doing financially and if you think it's going to be a smart buy. So just hopefully this video helps you make an educated purchase. And dude, that's it. I mean, I answered the most frequently asked questions. There's of course, if there's any more, drop a comment, leave it down below, and I'll try to answer it however I could. But honestly, I think it's a banger. Nifty City did a very good job of creating a digital dash that looks good, it's functional, and honestly, it just brings up the aesthetic of the car to where it probably should be in 25. But if you guys haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and let me know how you feel about the screen. Do you love it, hate it? I don't know.